Chromosome 1 is part of Group A. It is the largest chromosome. P-arm chromosome 1 is part of Group A. It is the largest chromosome, arm P equal to Q-arm with a clear P-ter part. Chromosome 2 is the second large chromosome of Group A, whose short P-arm is shorter than Q-arm. It is called submetacentric. It is very banded in GTG bands, with 4 bands on the P-arm. Chromosome 3 is the third chromosome of Group A. It is metacentric with P equals Q. The short P-arm is characterized by 2 black bands, one right after the other, then a light space and just 1 black band. Chromosome 4 is part of Group B. It is a submetacentric chromosome with a small short P-arm and a large long Q-arm. On the P there are 2 black bands and also characterized by this black band just under the centromere, an intense band, then clear in QTER. Chromosome 5 is the second chromosome of the submetacentric B group. It is the same size as chromosome 4, with a small P-arm and a large Q-arm. In P an intense black band and a dark black band in QTER. Chromosome 6 is part of Group C. It is submetacentric with a large head. On the short P-arm there are 2 black bands spaced apart by a large light space like a window. On the long Q-arm a black band just under the centromere. Chromosome 7 is part of Group C, with a large head P-arm. In our jargon we call it the B. On the P-ter it has a very black band which sometimes looks like 2 big eyes, and on the Q-arm presence of 2 very intense black bands. Chromosome 8 is part of Group C with a small head. On the short P-arm there is a kind of a small square, and it is especially characterized by a very intense black band towards the bottom of the arm Q. Chromosome 9 is part of Group C, with a small short P-arm on which we observe 2 black bands. Under the centromere there is a sort of constriction. Then on the long arm Q we have twice 2 black bands. As a reminder, there may be non-pathogenic variants of chromosome 9 with short or very long heterochromatin. This is called gene-poor constitutive heterochromatin. Chromosome 10 is a Group C chromosome, with a small short P-arm characterized by a black band, and on the long Q-arm presence of an intense black coat-style band, followed by 2 black bands spaced by 2 light bands. Chromosome 11 is part of Group C, with a large short P-arm. On the P-arm presence of 2 black bands. On the long Q-arm presence of a large light band just after the centromere, followed by 2 consecutive black bands. Chromosome 12 is part of the Group C, with on the short arm P the presence of a black band. Then just under the centromere on the long Q-arm a small light window, followed by 3 consecutive black bands and then a wide light band in QTER. Chromosome 13 is part of Group D. It is called acrocentric chromosome with a tiny short P-arm. On the P-arm, there is a kind of antenna in this part of P-arm. The nucleus organizer regions NORs are located on the short arms of all the acrocentric chromosomes 13, 14, 15, 21, and 22. The NORs are known to contain the genes encoding ribosomal RNA. On the long Q-arm there are 3 black bands. Chromosome 14 is part of Group D. It is called acrocentric chromosome with a tiny short P-arm. On the P-arm there is like a kind of antenna. On the long Q-arm there are 2 black bands spaced apart by a wide light band. Chromosome 15 is part of Group D. It is called acrocentric chromosome with a tiny short P-arm. On the P-arm there is a kind of antenna. On the long Q-arm there is a black cape. Chromosome 16 is part of Group E, called metacentric chromosome, because the P/Q ratio is around 1. It has the largest short P-arm of Group E. The long arm Q is characterized by the presence of 3 black bands. Chromosome 17 is part of Group E, presence of a black cape under the centromere, and 2 black bands on the long Q-arm a little towards the bottom. Chromosome 18 is part of group E, with an intense black band just below the centromere and an intense black band at QTER. Chromosome 19 is part of group F, characterized by a huge black centromere. The short P arm and the long Q arm are both light. Chromosome 20 is part of group F, characterized by two black balls in ter and on the long Q arm presence of two black bands, one of which is in Q ter. Chromosome 21 is part of group G, an acrocentric chromosome with a tiny short P arm with an antenna and the presence of a wide black band under the centromere. Chromosome 22 is part of group G, an acrocentric chromosome with a tiny short P arm with an antenna and presence of a black band in the center of the long Q arm. The X chromosome is part of the chromosomes known as the gonosomes, with a large short P arm characterized by an intense black band in the middle of the short P arm, and the presence of an intense black band which is equidistant from the centromere on the long Q arm. The Y chromosome, also known as a gonosome present in the male sex, it can be of variable size depending on the ethnicity. Often this chromosome is all black. The variable part of this chromosome is formed only from heterochromatin which is non-coding.